الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا كما أمر وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. All thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in his Quran, فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ. Allah said, know that there is no God but Allah. I want you to bear with me in the word no. He didn't say La ilaha illallah. He didn't say listen to La ilaha illallah. He said no. This time of history, of this age, of these centuries, actually the past couple of them until now, we saw, subhanAllah, a revolution in science, a revolution in inventions, finding out more about the universe, about ourselves. If you look around you, every aspect in our life, there's so much new information, scientific facts, inventions, and we live in it. And we became so dependent on it. It's starting from your car, to your cell phone, to your computer, to your coffee maker. I mean, as soon as you wake up, the first thing you do is you turn the electricity on. So where the religions in general stand with a huge knowledge. I mean, you talk about astronomy, there is numbers that even the mind can't imagine. Where does religion fit? Is it something, we go one day in a week or a couple of days, do our thing, and then go back to this world, to this dunya? If you study other religions except Islam, you will find out there is separation between the religious, the teaching, whatever they do, and science in general. When I say the word science here, it does not mean testing, dissecting parts. I mean the human knowledge in general. The inventions, the discoveries in astronomy, in ourselves, medicine, zoology, biology, everything. All religion except Islam, they just let the science be, and let the technology be, and let's do our things. And actually, 100 years ago, they actually fight between each other and start killing each other. But what about our Islam? What about our deen? Where do Islam stand in this environment? From your cell phone, from your car, that had a heated seat, from the space shuttle, from the galaxy that we discover every day. Where does Islam fit here? Does Islam take a course away from science? Being a pure scientific person, that doesn't mean you just Religion, there's time for religion, there's time for science. Unfortunately, some Muslim university teachers will tell their students that their students come in to kind of explain something happened, and this is, we have an example in Quran. They will say, we're talking about science now. We're not talking about religion. It's kind of like, put religion on the side, we're talking science now. Is really Islam this way? Is this scientific revolution, all these inventions, all these discoveries, do you think it's part of Islam? An essential part of Islam? What is something we need to know about? The answer to this question, science, inventions, and discoveries, and everything you see around you is part of our Islam. You cannot separate Islam from science. For the believers, it's a simple reason, because Allah created science, Allah created the mind, and Allah created the universe. And Islam is His deen, so everything has to match. But for us, some of us are skeptical. If we as a group use the correct scientific methodology, that includes reasoning, experimenting, thinking the right way, using the logical law, along with the fantastic tool that Allah gave to us to explore this universe, which is our brain and the ability to think. Knowing the limit of this brain, and this mind not being influenced with racism, I will not believe that person's idea because he's a male. Not influenced by arrogance, which is a disaster. That's what Shaitan ended up in wrong because of arrogance. Not influenced by the pressure for personal gains. And of course, in these days, not influenced by drugs and alcohol. If you use these two things and ride the journey in the world of science, you would reach the absolute and only fact of this universe, and that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our being. And actually, our aqidah is whatever you believe inside of you that will reflect your behavior. Christian believe in God and Son, we believe in Allah is one. Our aqidah and its basis, which is the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is one, He's the powerful, He's the ever-living, nothing matches it. All these basic facts of our aqidah, it's not just explained and mentioned in the Quran, but it's actually explained and proven by scientific methods, without a doubt. So if you put Quran on the side closed, and you start thinking and discussing the existence of Allah and His characters, you can prove it scientifically. And actually there's ayat in the Quran al-Kareem in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guiding us to use these things. Why? Because you can use it if somebody has no knowledge about Islam. They've grown up, PhD or whatever. It's hard for them to say, okay, this is the Quran, everything is in a true worship. Well, you don't have worship. That's why Allah in the ayah said, فَعْلَمْ. That's mean know. You have to know. You have to acquire the knowledge. You have to reason. You have to think. Not just say, La ilaha illallah, and that's it. You need to know. And this is actually very, very important in this age because of the information superhighway, whatever you want to call it. There are so many ideas and so many questions about everything. If you really don't have the right tool and the right knowledge, you can be shaped a little bit with the questions people ask you. So, we're not going to go through the Aqidah, we're going to move on to how this, you tell me here, this science and my confirmation, whatever, this how the Islam, what's all. Let's go back to basics. We are as Muslims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the brain, the mind, the intellectual ability in us. For a reason. Other creatures don't have it. Or they have it to a certain degree. You will never see a donkey living in a house. They'll live and eat, reproduce, but they will not build a house. He gave us this magnificent tool. And He created this universe. For a reason. He created this universe for you, for me, for us, only for us. Through this universe and using our mind, we get to know Him. And when you surely know Him, your life will be turned upside down. Allah sent us to this earth as a test. Everybody in this universe is testing. And He got a great rewards for us. You're not going to have Jannah forever just because you're a human being. All other creatures except jinn decline, say, we don't want to be tested like this. We just happy what we do, we don't want to get involved. But we are reading the test. For this test, we have to have the right tools. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows Himself, say, Allah, there's no need to believe, it's there. That's what's going to happen in judgment. But you have to find it. He gave you the tools, and after you find Him, He gave you the instructions to run your happy life here and have a happy life after, which is the prophets and the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Besides these two, the mind and the universe, and He gave you one more important thing, which is very vital for testing, which is the freedom of choice. It's not the man-made one that everybody speaks about. Each one of us has the freedom to choose with no influence from anybody what they believe in. So you have the mind, you have the universe, you have the freedom of choice. Find it. And He said to the guidance to it. You succeed, you have Jannah forever. You don't, you have not. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَعْلَ, know. Alam in Arabic comes from the word ilm. Ilm is knowledge. Ilm you acquire, you look for it, you ask questions, you do experiments. You don't just sit there and let come to you. So even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ordering us to think. To think about Him and to think about His creation. There are hundreds of ayahs in the Quran. It's either telling us or ordering us to look at His creation. Sometimes We read it, oh yeah, look at the skies and that's not the purpose. That's not, it's not a story to tell. There's a reason behind all these hundreds, some scholars for more than 1,000 added. It's telling you whatever is wrong to think about, to use your mind and think about. Every major science of this day, you will find a root for it in the Quran, where Allah told us to look. He told us to look ourselves. That's including anatomy, chemistry, and how everything done. He's telling us, look at yourselves. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. Don't they look at the camels, how they were created? This is not just to look at it and say, man, it's big. No. You look at it and say, it's big, it's tough. What's the biochemistry that this animal can survive in this desert? What's the chemical structure? That's what Allah wants you to find out. Because when you find that out, your mind cannot accept it. Something happened without somebody causing it. This chair behind me, if I go outside for 5 minutes and come back and this chair is there, you can't tell me the chair flew from here over there. It's a non-living thing. Somebody has to move the chair. So all this universe around you, even your car, even your cell phone you use, even the computer you use, do you think when you push a button, that's because it's the character in this device? No. That's because Allah made it this way. To let you know there is a great idea behind all this. And all that you did, you use your mind and you observe whatever around you. I mean, these galaxies being discovered every day. A right mind will not accept this is for just in a flip of a second, Big Bang happened and everything did. Maybe Big Bang happened. Who caused it? Somebody has to cause Big Bang. Nothing cannot come to something without cause. And in the Quran, other ayahs, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this actually is talking to the non-believer. And it said, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. We are going to show them ayat, the creation, فِي الْآفَاقِ, this universe. Look how much knowledge we have now. وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ, and in themselves. I mean, look how much medicine, astronomy, physics, and chemistry have advanced in the past 200 years. It's unbelievable. Allah says, we're going to show it. And this is the miracle. If you really, truly sit down and think about it, everything you see around you is a miracle. How did this happen? Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encourages us to increase our knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقُلْ رَبِّي زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. Oh my God, increase my knowledge. So He is ordering us to be scientists, to know all this stuff. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid if you hear something, oh, you know, this Quran says the opposite. That's fine. We don't shy away from anything. We will study new science. And we go through methods that reach that conclusion. And trust me, if it's truly, or if they think it is, the opposite of Quran, it's absolutely wrong. You can't, it's impossible. And up to date, nobody can prove that. Why? He created the universe for you, and created the physical laws and everything that runs this universe. Then He sent you His book, telling you about it, through His prophets. Why would He confuse you? Why would He create something and then tell you something the opposite? I mean, we don't accept this among ourselves. If we buy a car, you don't expect the manufacturer to send a brochure that says, put water in the gas tank. I mean, come on. So don't be afraid. Now, you might know that science, that's fine. Stay away. Let people who know discover and find out. And a lot of times it ends up, the non-Muslims disapprove that thing. I mean, we just, unfortunately these days, we just sit down and watch. So science and technology and all these advancements is part of our Islam. Every time we hear about something, either discovered or invented, just say subhanAllah. Just think where that comes from. Even think of the person who invented it, who created that person. Allah created all these things for you, so you know that He is there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, الله الذي خلق سبع سماوات ومن الأرض مثلهن يتنزل الأمر بينهم لتعلموا أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما. Allah said in translation, it is Allah who created the seven heavens and of the earth a similar number. His commandment descends between them. All of this so that you may know. It's for you, it's for me, it's for us. That Allah has the power over it. And Allah encompasses everything in His knowledge. So here's what the Quran is telling us. Allah is telling us, He created this universe and the earth for you to know. Not to say, we don't just take it and go because he said and she said. We know that He's the powerful and He's the all-knowing. When you get to that point, then you accept His Quran and whatever comes in it, there's no discussion about it. But before you get there, you need to know the manufacturer. You need to know who sent the Quran. As soon as you know that, you're going to believe every letter in it. But if you don't have that deep knowledge of Him, sometimes you get confused. Every time you hear about a discovery, every time you hear about a new iPhone, or a new computer, or a new tablet came out, this actually should increase our strength in our Islam, in our Iman. We shouldn't shy away. You know, all look, our countries are killing each other. You know, look at our scientific advantage. If you tell me Islam is all science, how come most of the Muslim countries are way behind? I'll let you figure that one out. When we let go of the Quran, Allah let go of us. This is earthly knowledge. This is Allah put in this earth for everybody, not just for Muslims. Muslims and non-Muslims can discover and can invent because they're human beings too. And there are some great scientists who became Muslims. There's some great scientists who became Muslims. So this is for everyone. But just, we lag behind because of all these. Maybe some of us decided we leave Quran in the masjid. That's 1400 years ago. It doesn't apply. And let's go after which is absolutely wrong. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who created this revolution. Who created all these scientists, who invented and discovered these things. He did. وأقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله أستغفروه فيا فوز المستغفرين استغفر الله. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. What I would like for myself and everybody here to leave today, inshallah, and just think, take a few minutes today and think what's around you. How all this creation came about? Where did it come from? Let's read a little Quran and just think about it. Think what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking. There is no conflict between Islam and any scientific facts that's been discovered in the past, is being discovered now, or will be discovered in the future. They say scientific facts, not theory, not somebody's imagination, not somebody's scientific facts. Gravity is a scientific fact. There is no conflict whatsoever. When Allah tells us about the creation of mankind, He made it clear. No matter what they discover, no matter what they say, it's all wrong. And the funny thing is, they themselves prove themselves wrong, either now or later. But there is no conflict. Why? Well, if you truly believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created everything. And He sent you His book and instructions. Why would be there a conflict? There would be no conflict. Otherwise, this defies the concept of God to live. Why would God want to confuse you? But in certain areas in this science revolution, if you're really not that strong and you hear something in the news and comments, and you think, oh, this is what Quran says, and you get to ask the people who know, ask Muslim brothers, scholars who study this science, and actually can prove it to you that it's not really true. So through science and knowledge, if you truly and honestly seek that road, there is no way around it. You're going to reach this stuff. Somebody might say, well, all these non-Muslim scientists these days have discovered all these things. They're still non-Muslims. What are you talking about? I'll remind you what I just said earlier. If you use your mind clean from arrogance, personal gain, racism, and of course drugs and everything else. If you clear your mind out of these things, your mind will take you there. That's all Allah created for. But unfortunately, some people be arrogant, hanging. I mean, I listen to some of these people. I mean, he literally tells me, my brain is my God. That's it. That's how arrogant some of them are. And some of them not even heard much things about Islam. That's why all the world here comes in. And some of them did. And actually from simple observation, I mean, I heard from one of the scholars that as scientist, he became a Muslim because he thought about the amount of milk the cow produced. The cow doesn't need that much milk. But yet the cow produced so much milk. There was a reason behind it. What was that reason? Somehow, realized now and figured out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created that cow for People eat the milk. If only you produce milk for her cows, how are you going to eat milk? For the drink. So sometimes simple observation with a clear mind, there's no. If you start, racism and arrogance and personal gain, I said this, my position, this institute will change. You go with your whatever. So, Islam and science. Science, all this revolution you see, all these technologies and inventions and discoveries, it's spark of our Islam. Hundreds of ayahs in the Quran. Allah says, look at the sky. You don't just go outside and say, oh, subhanAllah. Yep, that's it. No? You look and find out. We need to be doing what they're doing. We need to be the scientists that go to the moon and beyond. Some of the things I found, notice in NASA website. There's alhamdulillah, muhajjara, an engineer there. You don't see that much. Who is it? One of the scientists. We need a lot of this. You hear something that, oh, Islam is conflicted. No. Science, true science and true discoveries will never ever contradict the Quran or the Quran. If it does, there's a problem in the way. Not in a creation, not in the Quran. It's in us and how we look at it. So it's a good way practice for ourselves and for our kids. I see quite a bit of scientific, programs they do. Unfortunately, I've never heard anybody say the word God. It's either Mother Nature or something else. That's the way they are. That's the way they're being raised. Because of the religious conflict. But for us, teach yourself and teach your kid. Every time you see these things, you use your phone, you discover it. Sit back and say, SubhanAllah. All that great knowledge came from these things. And teach your kids to appreciate it. Don't let them think it's just all materialistic. This causes this because this is the way it is. It is the way it is, that's how Allah made it. But it runs with the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will make our dua, inshaAllah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma, we ask you to teach us what is beneficial for us, and to benefit us from what you taught us, and to increase our knowledge. Allahumma, make us with those who listen to the good and follow. Allahumma, we ask you to help and protect our families, our brothers and sisters, all over the world, in Syria, in Pakistan, in Egypt, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, everywhere. Allahumma guide us and guide him to the right path. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa aqim as-salat.